What's going on, everybody? This is the weekly. No, I got that wrong. I'm sorry, everybody. This is the Microsoft recap, episode 7. What's going on, everybody? This is your host, Mike B. Always with me, my man, Mike B on the line. What's going on, Mike?
What's going on, peoples? What's up? What's up?
Yeah, I was thinking I might just start calling us Bennett and Baker just so we could not confuse people. Yeah, but I'm gonna let people be confused for a minute, man. I don't even mind.
Man, you got more of a grown man voice than I do, so when you speak, they know that's the real Mike B.
Man, that's harsh he is, man. Harsh he is a living. That's what that is. I ain't even gonna lie for real. But yeah, man, we got some topics for y'all for this Microsoft stuff, man. So let's get started with these topics. First topic that we have is Microsoft says that their new Xbox, what they're calling the Xbox Series X, will not have any first-party exclusives at launch.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's not a seller for me. I mean, like, that's not going to get me to want to get the Xbox.
Stadia, here we come. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's seeming like. Stadia is on the way. The next topic that we have for you guys is a tech topic, mostly for our programmers out there, talking about how the COO of GitHub explains why there's no plans to ever completely move to Microsoft's cloud. If you use GitHub, if you know what GitHub is, most of you guys do. If you're in the programming world, it's like a social network for programmers where they can upload all their code, and that's essentially been bought out from Microsoft. We'll talk more about that. And the last topic that we have is a good tool that Microsoft is, like something that is beneficial for society as a whole. Microsoft launches a free tool for identity online child predators, well, to identify online child predators.
It's gonna be useful.
Yeah, that's just something that's great for society in general. Like, that's nothing that's really. I'm sure they found a way to monetize it and whatnot, but that's something that just that's just something that goes beyond trying to make a couple dollars. That's beneficial. But let's go with this first topic. We have Microsoft saying that their new Xbox Series X will not have any first-party exclusives at launch. Basically, if y'all play any kind of gaming systems, any consoles, if you play video games at all, you know about the Xbox, and you know that the Xbox Series X, which is the next generation of their console, the next one to come out, is going to be coming out in, like, I guess, the holiday season. They haven't fully announced that it's going to be that date, but it will be more than likely because they're slowly marketing and leading up to the full release, which will probably be at E3, which is usually in June. But what they're announcing at this point in time is that when this console comes out, they're not going to be releasing any exclusives, at least for the first year, is what they were saying, is that they're not going to be coming out with any exclusive games that can only be played on the Series X. What do you think about this, Mike?
I think that so as a gamer, I see that there was a point in time I started my gaming journey where there wasn't like an internet thing, right? It was just, started off on Sega. I was born after Nintendo, you know what I mean? So kind of dated.
Yeah.
But, Sega and all the stuff like that. And I think that with the progression of just video gaming, we've come into, I guess, this online driven type of gaming that people pretty much. That's what we do. It's online gaming. That's where it's at. Very, very seldom a game's played, even if it's like a action adventure. It's usually paired up with you can play online with someone else.
Yeah, true.
I think this is a part of the progression of gaming, that people are looking to connect however they can with other people who share the same interest in the genres that they play. The issue that I have with this, though, is that exclusivity is used, or I feel like it's effective in from a business standpoint, driving sales for the company, but also and at the same time, it builds a stronger brand. Like, for instance, when Xbox, the very first Xbox came out, we know something that was solely for that console was Halo.
Halo,
You know what I'm
Halo,
saying?
Halo, Halo.
Turn a part of it is that even I think they have some other titles, and of course they branched out. Bungie doing other stuff, but when you think of Halo, you simultaneously think of Xbox. You see,
Mm-hmm.
like saying like it just has that feeling. So
It
going
was a
into this,
green guy. I remember when Xbox had the green design with the green
yeah,
X, and the Halo guy was a green guy. Everything green was like, yeah,
it just flowed, you know. So
yeah,
I think that coming into this, although the decision for this to not have any first party exclusive is influenced by the culture of gaming now. I don't think it's a good move, because when you are trying to cater to, it's like a way of them trying to cater to everyone. And this is a general marketing rule. Is like when you're trying to sell to everybody, you don't really sell as much. You know what
yeah,
I mean? You know what I
yeah,
mean? And you don't really. It's not in all, I feel like by them making this move, they're not polarizing enough,
yeah.
because you have the platform like Google Stadia, where whatever game that they're trying to, this console is trying to drive now, which is pretty much whoever is able to develop, or they open the platform up for anybody. If Google Stadia offers the same thing, it's more convenient on the cloud without the hefty price of a console. Then what does that do for the Xbox Series? Uh,
Right.
it's almost like by them doing this, they could put themselves in position to not be a front runner in video gaming anymore.
Yeah, true indeed. True indeed. Like when Nintendo came out, they have their exclusives. You know
Of
that
course,
you're only going to get Mario Brothers, you're only going to get Zelda, you're only going to get like these certain titles, Pokemon,
and Sonic now.
and Sonic now. Yeah, like back then Sonic was the Sega exclusive. Like so you sort of defined your gaming hero by what console you had. If you had Nintendo, you had Mario. If you had Sega, you had Sega. I mean, you had Sonic.
Right.
Like that was kind of what it was. And yeah, like now with companies getting bought out and changing their business model, yeah, you have a company that originally would compete with Nintendo, like Sega, with their Sonic character. Now you can get Sonic on the Nintendo,
Right.
and I think they have a Sonic Android iOS game and whatnot. But I mean that's part of what that exclusivity was. It was like, yo, if you like this character, you got to go here to see it. I mean, exclusivity is all around. Like we were talking about with Apple TV and their exclusive content, and Netflix with their exclusive content. Like you watch HBO because of they have exclusive shows that you can only get one place, and that was kind of the same premise with these video games. It was like Xbox had certain games that you could only get certain places,
Yep.
and yeah, they're trying to change their business model. Um, One of the things that they have, I mean, they're talking about the X Play Play Anywhere service. I think they call it X Cloud, where you can essentially,
Mm.
well, actually, it's kind of two pieces. So they have X Cloud where you can play in the cloud, which is basically similar to Stadia, where you can basically buy the game and play it on any device, whether you play it on a computer, play it on a cell phone, play it on console. And then you have X Series, which is just the newer console, but it comes with those same functionalities if you pay into it. I think you have to pay for xCloud, but if you pay into it, essentially you'll be able to get that game on any one of those consoles. And they did say something about Halo. They were saying that because they are coming out with Halo Infinite, but they're coming out with Halo Infinite on all consoles. So meaning that it'll be coming out on the current Xbox One, and it'll also be coming out on the new X series. Then it'll also be coming out on PC, and it'll also be coming out in their X Cloud service. So it's not necessarily exclusive to the X series, which makes it seem like, well, why even get the X series? It's like
Yeah,
basically,
exactly.
if I can get this game in any other format, why even get it? Um, but part of that, I mean, for me, that kind of still feels like exclusivity, because it's still, you have to have an Xbox branded product, or at least a Microsoft product to play it. But it does sort of eat away at buying a new console from Microsoft if there's no, like,
Exclusive, yeah.
yeah, there's no reason to really get this one console. Like I have an Xbox already. Well, I don't, but if I have an Xbox already, why do I have to go to the next gen if I can just go to X Cloud? And I guess they kind of just doing that just to broaden the range so that they can capture more people however they want to play. Say, some people don't want to get a console at all. They just want to play at xCloud. I guess you can get Halo Infinite in xCloud if you wanted to.
But you have to. A part of that too is that it takes away the. I just think it takes away from the overall like gaming experience because a part of it. And I guess I'm saying it from like a businessman's lens, right? But a part of what drives the sales and what. If can you imagine if Apple technology was available on all cell phones? Or whatever,
Right.
not technology, or whatever their applications, whatever case is. Like it was just only for a long period of time. iTunes, you can only have iTunes access to it on like an Apple device. Then later on, they open it up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Right.
they put themselves in a position, and it's almost like you still are used to using iTunes on an Apple device.
Yeah,
But
nobody's getting iTunes on Android.
so it doesn't even make any sense. So I think with video gaming, because it is, that thing of, well, I guess with iTunes, you can look at it as more of a service, right? It's like more like a SaaS type of thing. Whereas though you're looking at gaming, it's not so much of a service you're providing, but it's like a product. And whenever everything's a product driven, you want it to like be as exclusive as possible or polarizing as possible if you want to maximize how much you can get from that. Because again, if it like what you just said, it's no reason to really buy the Series X if all the games that's going to come out for it you can either get on a previous console or you get it with PC, where PC games is usually cheaper, and you can get access to the same game with more convenience on the cloud. Like what do you like? That's
right.
They may not sell half as much as what they projected they're going to sell going this route. So
I think part of it is that they probably plan the hardware game where, because for the past couple consoles, they rarely were ever the front runner console seller. Like, it costs a lot of money to make the hardware, and it's kind of expensive. They tend to eat away at their own budget. Like they tend to like take the cut just so that they can get the console out. And I'm thinking that they're really trying to use this as a push for things like xCloud. So like saying if they make it so that nothing is exclusive to the console, the only people that are going to buy the console are going to be the hardcore gamers that want the Xbox particularly or specifically they want that. But like they always lose out on the cost of the console. They usually make their money back on the games that are sold. So if they can probably get people to just say, I bet you when this Xbox come out, they're going to start heavily pushing xCloud as a service also, because right now you can play it, but I think it's only limited to certain people under certain conditions that you can get xCloud. But they'll probably start pushing xCloud to the public where it's like, yeah, you don't even really need the Xbox, but if you want the Xbox, you can get the Xbox and play here. But they'll come up with some marketing campaign where they'll let people know that you can also just play it live directly. All you got to do is just get a controller of some sort and you rent it, because essentially xCloud is a subscription service. So you're renting it for a long term.
It's a continuity. I mean, so as far as xCloud goes, that I think from a that makes sense because it establishes continuity, right? Where so looking at it like with PlayStation did with their PlayStation Plus thing is that you have to pay to play. When you with the xCloud, like transitioning into that style of like gaming where you playing through the cloud, you having to pay for it. It develops more consistent revenue, and you could get it's like the ability because they're already paying to upsell more. I look at it like with the Series X that they could just be doing this as a means to although it could be it could be marketed as the next big thing, they can go into this looking at it as a controlled like measurable loss that leads to something bigger.
Yeah.
But other than that, like it's just like it's no reason to buy a console. If I can get this game anyway, what sums it up is if I can get this game anywhere, why I need to buy this console for it? You had to buy Xbox in order to play Halo. Now I can't remember what the exclusive title was on. That's something too for PlayStation. I never really remember what the exclusive titles are for PlayStation.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I was gonna say Crash Bandicoot at one time, like for the PS1.
Yeah, when it first came out, when it first came out, that was about it. Like Crash Bandicoot, like what was that Wipeout X or whatever with the speed cars or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
but other than that, that's it. Like I can't remember, and I don't know how.
Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy VII maybe. But other than that, I can't even after that. I can't remember anything like with because Xbox, and that's what's weird because it gets away from the original business model. Because I think it's how it was for the original Gears of Wars too. Like Gears of War was only for Xbox, so you had to get you.
It's still only Xbox. Like
I thought they had one way crossed over. No,
I think if they crossed over, I think they went to console. I mean, not the console, but to mobile.
Okay.
I don't quote me on none of that, but like I think they even went to mobile, or they went. I know they have one where it's capable on PC now. So, but it's still under the Microsoft banner. Gotcha. I mean, so like you still gotta have it under Microsoft. I don't think you can play that at all on PlayStation. Mm-hmm. And Microsoft always they have Windows, so basically any PC gamer is a Microsoft gamer in a way. Even if you say, "Oh, I get mine through Steam," but you get yours through Steam on Windows. So I mean, you're still a Microsoft gamer nonetheless. But like, I think there's really just a play at they're trying to come. I mean, they never had the exclusives. That was like their main competition was Sony, and they never had the level of exclusivity that Sony had with this current generation. Like this current gen, Sony has been killing with the exclusives, and like their exclusives aren't just like, okay, it's exclusive and it can only be played on here. It's like games that people really do want to play that can only be played on here. Like it didn't like if you have exclusive but don't nobody care about it, it's not really gonna hit that hard. Like Microsoft had some, but beyond things like you said, Gears of War, it wasn't really anything that anybody missed. But
right.
Yeah, like nobody cared. But like Sony had some that were like, damn, I wish I think I might go get a PlayStation just for that game. And
another one they had back in the day was Dead or Alive, I think. Dead or Alive. Fighting.
Yeah. Dead or Alive.
Favorites, but
Dead or Alive when that first came out, like that was like a high one. I think was Dead or Alive for like Sega Dreamcast for a short while, and then they like Dreamcast just died out. So
Sega Dreamcast was for a short while.
Exactly. It's like since they was exclusive to them, they had to go somewhere. I think they went to PlayStation just because they didn't have nowhere else to be. But like they got a strategy, and Sony has a strategy, and it seems like their strategy mostly is geared around exclusivity because they don't have the technology that Microsoft has. They don't have the technology that that Google has with the cloud. So like, Sony has partnered up with Microsoft to use Microsoft's Azure cloud to be able to offer game streaming essentially. But like that's not their go-to bread and butter. But like, let's move on to the next topic because we've been dragging this one out. We definitely gonna talk about that all day. The next topic that we have is talking about GitHub and how the COO, the Chief Operating Officer of GitHub, explains why it has no plans to ever move completely to Google Cloud. GitHub, like I said, if you guys don't know, has about 40 million people on there now. And it's, like I said, it's a social network in a way. It's a platform for programmers to be able to upload their code so that they can share it with the rest of the world and they can talk about it and then they can go over it so that it's like a hub of programming of code for people. And it's a website and service that people use. And it was recently, I'd say like last year, 2018, 2019, it was bought by Microsoft and it was bought for about $7.5 billion. And a lot of people complained about it for a short second because Microsoft was never known to be like a software company that was open to what they call open source development. Yeah, to having your code out in the public.
Now everybody know Microsoft. You got to pay to play, Jack.
Yeah, you gotta pay to play. Yeah, that's exactly. Like you want to build on
video,
here.
all that.
Yeah, you gotta get these licenses. You need that license money. I mean, and like that's been Microsoft's MO since like the beginning. And I mean, really recently they started getting into this whole initiative where they're starting to support and promote open source software. Like they actually build out open source software now, and they actually support being able to run Linux on top of Windows like natively now. But like for a while that wasn't the thing, and it kind of got to a lot of people when they bought GitHub. But GitHub has been continuously being independent for this whole time period, and GitHub runs a lot of their software on top of different cloud offerings. They never really say publicly what type of cloud services they use. Like they never really say, "Am I using?" I mean, are they using Amazon Web Services? Are they using Google Cloud? Are they using Microsoft Azure? But they do say indirectly that they use third-party cloud services and that they also use their own in-house data centers that they've built on their own. But they did also say that like there was an employee back in 2014, 2015 that had recently been who had been fired back then. He had said that they were using Amazon Web Services for things as part of their development, and they openly have acknowledged that they're using Azure GitHub. I mean, Azure for some of their GitHub applications, like I think it's GitHub Actions, which is one of the main applications if you're familiar with it. But they people have always been worried about if they're going to just completely switch over to it, and Microsoft has never really made any issue or push on that. And the COO has basically said that her name is Erica Brescia.
I don't know how to say that name.
Yeah, it's Brescia. Brescia. I'm just assuming it's that, but it's good that they are allowed to be independent. I mean, just because they bought them doesn't mean that they got to completely switch over to their platform. It would be beneficial for them to like potentially move over. And I'm sure they can probably get some monetary cuts being able to, work in house completely.
It's such a big thing, man, because it says like so. A part of it's a long title, right? But in the title, it says in the headline, it says that it was that, and they're not going to completely move even after a $7.5 billion acquisition. So
yeah,
it just goes to show how vast GitHub really is. The fact that it still is using and it's a part of all these other platforms, and people were, like cloud services, and they got acquired for $7.5 billion, but still to some degree has the liberty to operate the same way they did before before the acquisition. So to think that if it was to be made like exclusively just for Microsoft's cloud, like they can they walk away with a pretty penny.
Yeah,
if they really wanted to.
I mean, 2 points. They talk about LinkedIn and how LinkedIn essentially did a similar service, because LinkedIn, if you don't know, that was also bought by Microsoft Azure. Well, by Microsoft. LinkedIn is a social network that everybody's familiar with for being in a professional setting. Microsoft bought them recently, and I want to say that was like for a couple billion, but LinkedIn decided that they would go ahead and completely move over their whole infrastructure to Azure. But LinkedIn also built their platform on Microsoft technology in the first place. They use ASP, they use Windows servers. So it only made sense for them to go ahead and make that full transition over to Google Cloud, to Microsoft Clouds, to Microsoft Azure, to use all of their services, because they're essentially built on them anyway. They just weren't using the cloud per se. They were using all their on-premise independent stuff. But in GitHub's case, Git, if you never heard of Git was always a big piece of software in the development world for synchronizing, organizing, programming, so that you have stuff in order. Because if you have a large project where there's like 10, 20, or even 100 people working on the same piece of software. In order for them to all keep it organized, Git was used to keep it organized, and GitHub is sort of a evolutionary extension of that. And that was not built for Microsoft software. It wasn't built for Windows initially or anything. Mm-hmm. So to try to push that into Microsoft's platform, that would basically probably break almost all the functionality that they already had built into it. Plus, it's like a Trojan horse for them. It allows them to have their own GitHub, and GitHub has a lot of software in Amazon's services, web services, and in Google Cloud. All that does is just allow for Microsoft to have a Trojan horse of employees that know how to use Amazon Web Services.
That makes a lot of sense.
And Google Cloud.
I didn't even think of it like that.
If they need to know how competition is working, if they need to know anything about comp, they got a whole bunch of employees right there
Technology,
that just use
espionage.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's a perfect position for them to be in. I mean, they already own the GitHub, which has 40 million developers on it. So they got their slim pickings. They got their pickings of any software developer that they want. Essentially, all they got to do is say which one is putting the most stuff up on GitHub and which one I want to work for Microsoft.
Braxton ABC, dash whatever.
Exactly. I mean, let's pick him because we see that he puts a lot of stuff on GitHub, and a lot of his stuff is Microsoft based, and he also works with Azure and all this stuff.
Code Hitman -XXX.
Yeah, it's definitely like a plot employee because, like I said, they got GitHub and they got LinkedIn. They definitely are just organizing all their developers and the professional people. Anybody that's in a professional setting, they got LinkedIn. Anybody that's a developer, they got GitHub. So they got all the people basically. That's like a mean Trojan horse to get everybody.
Well played.
Yeah, Microsoft. Those are definitely chess moves. Yeah, those are definitely chess moves. This last article that we want to talk about is pretty interesting. This Microsoft launches a free tool for identifying online predators. So online predators in general, child predators is just a thing that has always been a factor of society that has to be dealt with. And when it comes to online like predators, like dealing with child predators online, with dealing with that, it's even larger of an issue because you have that layer of anonymity. People always changing their identities, acting like they're different people, acting like they're children, and manipulating other children to meet them at places or to send them pics and crazy stuff like that.
It's been going on for 2-3 decades, man.
Yeah, since the internet has been out, it's been a major thing, and like even before the internet, it was always an issue. But the internet essentially empowered them to even be more of a problem because of the anonymity of it all. But Microsoft has been one of the key companies that have been working with this because they make Windows, they basically make the platform that even these child predators are using to get online in the first place. So
it makes it gives them more incentive to do something like this, because if not, you say it further enables this type of harmful behavior.
Yeah. I mean, they've probably had to deal with this for as long as Windows has been a popular product, since like at least Windows 3.1 or Windows 98. Whenever things Windows 95, Windows 90, like whenever they started going online and allowing people to just dial in, like that's basically been an issue. And they definitely have ways that they can work with it. They said that they've been building this technology for use with Microsoft Xbox, for the Xbox platform, for a while. So using like Microsoft Live and stuff like that, Xbox Live, that because you can always chat people on there, and you can chat your friends, and there's a large community of children on there, and then there's a large community of adults on there, and they don't really separate the two. They sort of just, everybody's a player, everybody's a gamer in the world. So like this software is essentially used to try to identify what are like cues that people can use to identify like whether somebody is potentially uh, trying to manipulate like a child or just being a predator in general. I mean, there's all a whole lot of key factors. Like, I mean, you when you sign up for these accounts, you can already ask, like, and I mean, part of it is just like with parents lying on their application when they sign up their kids to things. Like, if you
Absolutely.
sign, like, if you sign your kid up for an Xbox Live account and you don't tell the Xbox Live account that your kid is 13, and you just say, "Oh, he's 18," and you put it on there as an 18-year-old, then the system is going to just assume that that's an adult, and it's going to pair them up with other adults. And like you kind of got to be truthful about the documentation that you're putting up there to a point if you're trying to protect your kid.
Yeah, but then it's like, who's really? It's up. So same thing like with like a Netflix account. Like I have to do this.
Yeah,
Like with my nephews, where it's kind of like, you know, of course they shouldn't be watching the things that I watch because I'm grown. But then, depending on your parenting style, some people would say, well, that my child is mature enough for this. But again, what
right.
you do is you open them up to a world to deal with predators and people who will interface with them just as much as, you know, that whole thing of seeing that they are mature at a certain age, like people will take that and run with it.
Yeah.
And the fact that, and I think a lot of times that's why even with the predatory acts, you know, it's the participation of the children. Sometimes it's like even voluntary, because there's been this, now I can explain this, there's been this like thing that's been created where the children, like the underage person is interfacing with this adult, this predator, as if they are on the same level, like they can. So it's
yeah, a lot of
slope.
those predators are definitely like acting like children.
That's true, and they acting like children, or they're being, they're acting like children, but then playing on the fact that the children are trying to act like adults too.
Yeah, it's and it's this term that they got right here, child grooming, where they're essentially it's that crossover, because you know kids always just want to act like adults. That's all they're going to do. They're going to try to mimic themselves until they are adults. They're going to just act like adults, and then you got adults on there, particularly if they are child predators. They're going to manipulate that situation. They're going to be like, yeah, man, that's cool and all that stuff. They're going to manipulate some child's undeveloped brain, trying to be somebody that they're not, and they're going to convince them in some form of fashion if there's no human moderation, if nobody's there to actually monitor those activities. I mean, like whenever we play games, if I find a game and I'm find out some kids in there, I mean, main thing that we do, we talk to them and let them know, like, yo, you're in here with a bunch of grown up adults.
If you're a sane adult, like you're gonna, that's like an almost like an instinctive thing. Like you know, you hear some squeaky, 12-year-old boy voice. Yeah. Like, oh man, he's talking crazy too, because you know how it is playing Call of Duty. You know, he's talking directly. He's like, oh man, like.
And then some kids talking about your mother real quick. I mean, you got some 12-year-old kid talking about you gonna bang your mother when you see it. Like, yeah, man, you start to forget that you're a kid.
And it's crazy because we kind of used to. I can speak for myself. I kind of used to be on that wave too. When it'd be like a 35, 40-year-old man you playing Call of Duty, you be talking shit like.
Yeah.
That's what you do, So, but there's this other other games that's played and other things that happen in online gaming and like just online period where, like even with like Facebook, right? Like it's so
especially
the internet has opened up it's a whole world of problems when it comes to tracking down predators, and I think that with Microsoft putting in this initiative, it's called Project Artemis. As I said, it's something that's well needed because, it's only if not, it's only going to get worse. You know what I mean? With a lot of going into more of like, I guess, social science type of talk, right? But a lot of the kids nowadays are starting to grow up fast because of them being able to interface with adults a lot more easier.
Yeah, they have a lot more exposure.
Yeah, a lot more. Exactly, have a lot more exposure. So. But at the same time, as a person that is more mature, you have to still, if you're sane, you know what I mean, still understand the platform and this is the interaction that's going on, and make sure you maintain your position of being the adult. And there's a lot of people you got to keep in mind. There's a lot of people out there, like you said, the predators that play on the fact that kids nowadays want to be grown very quickly, and they'll use it to their advantage.
Yeah, they're manipulative, and like I mean, we can't blame the parents for any of it because child predators out there, and they're gonna try to find whatever they can because that's their intent. They're on the hunt. But you also gotta be responsible for your child in some ways. You got to be able to take action on some of their limitations. You got to limit them until they understand the world that they're fully getting into. I mean, if you don't have talks about child predators, you need to have talks about child predators. I mean, like you gotta limit their account. If you're not willing to have that conversation, then you got to go ahead and at least limit that account. You got to take some responsibility in that. Because, I mean, like I said, they're manipulative. They're plotting on your child. So you got to plot on making sure your child is aware of the situation at hand. Because there's a whole world out there. There's a whole internet of 3.5 billion people online. I mean, like somebody's coming after somebody. So you just got to be aware of that stuff and take action.
Another thing we have to why this is cool, like this is good that they're doing this, is that child predatory acts is not always like people try to. I think that the end game, and I would never think of doing anything like that, but just trying to put it into perspective is that predatory acts doesn't always have to be meeting up. It could just be doing things online. You know what I mean? Like send me this picture, like let's have this video. You know what I mean? So it's becoming very tense online as far as what monitoring what actually goes on, just knowing what goes on. So this initiative is something that's definitely I feel like it should have been, maybe some companies have tried to go that route, but it can be difficult to monitor because it's easy. It's like it's one of those things where it's easy to be found, but then it's easy to hide on the internet.
Right. Exactly. It's just as easy as it is to be found. Like if you did the information to make yourself exposed, if you do the knowledge to find out how to hide yourself, it's about just as easy. It's one of those things that you really just got to be aware, and if you're not willing to be aware, then you just got to know not to be involved. Like you got to cut them off. You're like, we just not going to get on PlayStation and Xbox right now. We just going to cut that shit off. Like you guys got to be participating in that. It's a serious game out there. Everybody trying you for something, whether it's not even for predatory acts. If they just try to get a couple dollars out your pocket, they're trying. So it's issues out there. But yeah, that's it for today for our topics. Appreciate y'all listening. If you definitely like the show, y'all got to go ahead and do the damn thing. You got to like, you got to subscribe, you got to hit the share button, and please comment because we like the comments. We like to hear your opinions about things. Got more shows coming up in the next couple of weeks. Got a couple of events, they had the Microsoft at that CES thing. A lot of people keep asking me about the CES stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna bring up stuff about it. I just want to let it weed itself out because CES is like a festival of new stuff coming out, and it's like hundreds of things. So
thing after thing after thing,
yeah. So I wanted to sort of weed itself out to the most important parts of it, and then we'll start discussing a little bit more about it. But yeah, man, that's basically it. You got anything to say, Mike?
Yeah, man. Just piggybacking off of what you said, man. Like what Mike said, Mike Baker said that manly Mike B. Man, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to all of the wherever you can find us online, man. We do our damnness to bring you some good commentary and righteous criticism on what these companies got going on, and like I said, at the same time, giving our props to who's doing the right thing. But yeah, make sure you comment. And the reason why is because we're developing this platform, and we're doing it in such a way where we want to cater to what you all will be interested in. And we're looking to get into developing a newsletter or something that we can provide to you all on these platforms that will really be beneficial to you all understand what's going on in the technology industry. So it'll benefit just as much as it benefit us to be able to deliver the right content to you. It'll benefit you directly by just leaving your comments and any reviews on what we can improve upon and what you want to see from us. So yeah, man. Once again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and follow us wherever you can follow us. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, y'all take it easy out there. Be safe.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.